this fall you are doing a whole series focusing on fruit of the Spirit. The fruit of the Holy Spirit have for their context God's whole work of salvation. What is God's whole work of salvation? Well, what is holiness? Holiness is a kind of otherness, a kind of relationship, a kind of right relationship. And God is holy. The word holy comes with two meanings that are related to one another. One is, holy means set apart, right? Holy means special and dedicated for a particular use. So the accoutrements in the tabernacle or the temple are holy because they're not common. They're set apart. It's like the good china that you bring out for, a holiday dinner for Thanksgiving or Christmas. It's set apart, not for common use, but for special use on certain occasions. All right? Dinner time in our family is set apart. And the dinner table at that time is set apart for us just to connect. And one of the prime reasons for assembling on Sunday is simply to assemble. To see some familiar faces. To familiarize yourself with some unfamiliar faces. Just to reconnect. Right? Even if not a lot gets accomplished that week. Even if you don't leave thinking, oh, that was awesome. Even if you just leave thinking, well, that's all right. At the work family, we might leave the table thinking, or man, he was irritating. or whatever, but it's functioned because it has its special place, and nothing really replaces that. The other meaning of holy is pure. We could even say adequate to that use. You wouldn't put out your good china dirty on Thanksgiving or Christmas Eve, right? It's got to be suitable for the purpose. We try to clear off the dinner table as best we can at dinner time. So those two conditions those two meanings are closely related. They're not just coincidental. So God makes this creation that's not God, that's common, that's ordinary. And then he picks a people, Israel, and he gives them a particular use in all human history. And early on in that history, he delivers the kinds of rules and structures that will make them different, that will keep them different if they obey them. And he says in the middle of those rules, in Leviticus of all places, like in the middle of the real thick of the particular details, the fine print, he says, be holy for I am holy. Israel, your purpose is to be really a reflection of my difference, my otherness, my adequacy, my particularity, so that the world of nations, maybe even beyond the world of nations, maybe the universe, maybe the angels, will know that I am the Lord, will know that I am God. So Israel's task is to be holy as God is holy. And the church is grafted into that. And this is, I think, what it means when in the Creed we say, I believe in the Holy Catholic Church. We believe in this fellowship, this assembly, which is both set apart for a particular purpose and made adequate to that purpose. The problem is, we're not all that adequate to that purpose, are we? Human beings have proven themselves like horrifically against God's purpose, unholy, and inadequate to the task, unholy. And so, for this to happen, God has to, save us. I think salvation has its fullest meaning in the process by which God remakes his people Israel, Israel's holy people, Israel's holy ones, individuals, persons, and ultimately the whole cosmos itself. All right? So that's what I give my students as a definition of salvation. It's God's remaking of the whole cosmos, of humanity and his people particularly, and of persons. All right? We're kind of used to thinking of salvation as merely individual. But the context for individual salvation is corporate salvation. And the context of corporate or church salvation is the world's or the cosmos' salvation. And that's the story. And that's the setting.